I'm gonna be talking about what I've learned doing thesis while I boulder. What I'm basically going to be talking about is how thesis works in my university, what we did, how it went, the aftermaths, lessons learned. I'm a communication arts student. I'm waiting for graduation now. We were supposed to make was a short film. Yeah, but I'm gonna boulder now. So hopefully this is working. Put on my shoes. So basically, I have one term, thesis cam A. You prepare basically pre-production, like the majority of pre-production and conceptualization. So what we did, we first had a concepts, storylines, and then story beats, and then we basically proposed it a bunch of times, the ideas to our mentor, and then we had one proposal defense thing. I forgot the term for it, but we had like one meeting with panelists. After that was up to our mentor if we were ready for thesis 2, basically. And we were. We are groups of 3 usually. Yeah, we have 3 people to make this short film. The short film is supposed to be under 20 minutes or exactly 20 minutes. The idea we landed upon was a story about invisible diseases, or specifically gout. It was inspired by my friend's real condition. And it was very personal to him, and our professor liked it, or our mentor liked it. Ooh. So we stuck to that, and we developed a screenplay. Fuck me. So we had screenplay. That screenplay, I did a lot of revisions because I feel like it was, my group mates was a bit too, or my thesis mate was a bit too attached to the story because it was very personal to him. If there's something like gout, I feel like there's a lot of stigma or preconceptions when a young person has gout. It got complicated. I'll explain why it gets complicated, but yeah, I'll do one more for warm up. This big one's really fun. Yeah, and it was not too stressful. The first thesis, it was just more like head banging in terms of like what I felt like is a good story. Because me personally, I wasn't too psyched or too passionate about that story. With thesis, you only have 3 proponents, but then you can ask like other people to be part of your film crew. First, we hired 6 actors, and then we had 3 total production assistants, because none of the major production roles, post-production roles, or even pre-production roles can be outsourced. So my role my role was like a lot, but like in the first term, we all of us wrote. I gave a bunch of story revisions and like really being economical with the writing on the screenplay. I feel like because of Sir Doy, Caudal del Mundus Jr. and Direct Joey Reyes. The thing was you have to be compact with your script and be very intentional and purposeful. And with how like thesis mate handled it, I feel like he was adding too much information and it was too not clear what the story was going to be. Going back to the first point, why when you had only 3 people, it's because the whole point is you get only 3 people and you don't outsource to other people, basically. Yeah, so it's really your own film. Yeah, that was this important that we did everything ourselves, because my primary role was the editor, but I wrote and I directed some scenes, and having only 3 production assistants was really helpful. What am I saying? It was really important for me that even if this isn't my story, I still want to make it as good as possible. But then my whole dilemma was, I thought the story wasn't good, but then my professor and my other groupmates said it was good, so I was really questioning everything I've learned in my 2 writing elective classes with Direct Joey, with Sir Doy. Yeah. My 3rd elective was sound design with Sir Pepe Mnican. I feel like I'll talk about later the second term and post-production later, but that really helped a lot. just some context, then I was working part-time in this gym at that point when I was doing thesis 1. So I feel like I kind of have a not really give a fuck attitude when I was doing this climb, doing what the fuck, cooked. Yeah, but the first term, in summary, the first term was basically a lot of self-doubt and not really putting my 100, I guess. I was kind of passive with what I thought was right and what I thought was best for the story. Well, I say that, but then we did a lot of revisions, but the concept itself wasn't mine, so I felt very detached. So, yeah, that was my first term for thesis. Yeah, basically. So, first term was a lot of thinking, and we got past them on. I think the main comment that kind of struck me was that we should just make a documentary that pivoted us to make it more psychological about the relationships of someone having a invisible disease. Yeah. Now, still on. I'm gonna talk about term 2. So the chalk bag. First, we started way earlier than the other groups, so we casted like a month before everyone else. So I think that's really good. But we did take a big risk. Well, I took a big risk because the lead actor, or the main character, Ed, for their story, I suggested my friend who never had acting experience, named Dre. But he was basically the character, like in real life, because our main character is basically a basketball player, a really straight blue type of guy. And he was basically the character, but like instead of dealing with trauma or depression or sadness or just anxiety, his character would be very sad. He would just laugh it off, and after like some arguing and discussions and debating, yeah, sure, fuck it, let's get your friend as the main actor. Yeah. And right on the day of script reading, like table reading actually, he did one a month. We would give him some acting workshops beforehand. Yeah. But then he did break his foot after that, like the weekend on that day. And we had a serious talk if he was gonna continue. And I was really close to telling him, nope, we're not. We're gonna recast you. But if we had to recast him because of the heights and stuff of the actors, we had to recast the girl as well. But then after a long talk and a very serious talk, we stuck with him, and that's where production started. Once production started, we had like 4 days on a week, basically. We took time to get all the permits where we needed, borrowed equipment from school. All 3 of us could drive, so that wasn't really a problem. It was just like, honestly, our biggest expenses was permits, actors, and food. Frustrating. Well, not really frustrating, but like it was something, or like it was a lesson that we learned that even with our shoestring budget, we could have saved more and stuff. But we did save a lot because we used locations like a basketball court that was for free, or like 200, I think. Yeah, 200 long. That was really good. So one time, yeah, it was for 200 because my family used to live there. And we saved a lot. Yeah, locations were like not the most expensive things, except we had a problem with Coopers, so we couldn't get the lighting right. And that's what I learned post-production, always try to have control over lighting, but also at the same time, we cut a lot of costs by using one of our spare rooms in my house as two sets. One as the one as the coach's office, and one as the doctor's clinic. That looked nice on the film. We saved a lot by doing that. But yeah, the main things I learned from doing the production was you have to be able to communicate properly. And this is when a lot of things happen, like the frustration with my thesis mate. He was supposed to be director, but kind of lacked that, not sternness, but ability to explain, articulate why he had certain decisions, and which is a bit frustrating because that's not what you want, do you? I start this way. I forgot to start this. Yep. Yep. I'm getting cooked. Oh my god, I forgot how to start this. Oh, there's a fucking hold here kasi. Okay. Yep. Let's move for it. That's better. Thank you, Mark. Haven't done this in a while. I'll be real. Yeah. Okay. Got humbled there. Deserve naman. On the after the first day of shooting, which is a really important day, I looked at the footage. We had to reshoot. It was so shit. A bunch of the footage we scrapped, and that day kind of made me wake up to the fact that okay, I have to direct. I have to step up. That's what followed. Next shoot dates. Projecting a Yellow 4 Pi. Besides that, now on the other days, honestly, other days of the shoot, I storyboarded the majority of the film. I feel like that's something so important. So if you want to make a short film and you're in communication arts and you're in pre-thesis or thesis 1, storyboard early. Show it to your professor para they know how your film's gonna look like agad. And then the whole point is not to do it one-to-one. The whole point is you have a reference and do scout locations. We did not do proper scout locations, so a lot of the shooting was on the fly. I had to figure it out. So I am the DOP and editor and sometimes directing the scene. But that is one of the important things. Do as much prep as you can, but also leave space for improvisation or adaptations on the shoot date or on the set. Another thing, invest in sound. Sound elevates a badly filmed thing really well, so sound goes a long way. Another thing is stick to one camera the whole time. That's what another point of friction happened with me and my other thesis mate. Kept pushing to use the action camera, but that was like shit. That was important because if you're consistent with the camera, it feels like it's one whole story as well. Even though we didn't have complete control of the lighting, which is something very important when you're shooting. So if you can have control of the lighting, invest in lighting. Because you can honestly use any camera. You can just use that as stylistic choice if it's like a bit older. But yeah, now I'm in a project like Yellow 4 Pi. 감사합니다. Yeah, so just attempted 2 times on the project. Thank you, Mark, for the brush. Post-production, so we shot the reshoot thing, which is basically the bridge, basically the cafe and bridge scene. That's the main part where the girlfriend and the main character break up. basically it's a dialogue, and then when we did the reshoot, I actually made a new storyboard for it, and sir really liked it, or professor really liked it. Our mentor, rather. I feel like it was a really good way to block the characters, and it worked. Like even the actors, like, you sure you like this? But I really liked it, and how it came in the edit, it worked really well. When editing it, I first made a really rough cut. I really want to make it black and white. I feel like the black and white made it more. It salvaged certain scenes where the lighting was so shit. But then after edits and headbanging, not being able to give a narrative reason why we make it black and white. I really like the color gray. It was okay. People liked it, I guess. Then the sound of it was very inspired by Past Lives. Some Boy and the Heron, Her, by Spike Jones. Yeah, those three films. I love the sounds in that. I feel like I wanted the synths and the strings to really carry the emotions, and piano. In the first version for the thesis defense, it was a version with songs that were copyrighted. I used the Sufjan Stevens song, and I forgot the other artist's name, but it was called Oceans, I think. Those were the two artists I used, and then the Pixel Bay one, the Japanese artist as well. But it was all very ambient synths, and it tried to evoke a sense of solemnness, but also like intimacy. And I feel like how the film came out was a very intimate take on how people with disabilities, and Ed is one of them, I guess. Stole their changes because of that. Each term is like around 3 months, and I think for the edit I took 3 weeks, which was more than enough time. But we also, main concern was with the title. They liked the music, and like the cinematography was decent though. Like they really had comments on the story and like why gout and stuff like that. And then I remember one of the comments from the panelists was like, "I have a friend who has gout. He still plays, and parang why does like there's not enough context to Ed's life." And in response to that, after the defense, I added an extra scene where we show his lifestyle, which is like eating and like just not taking care of his body, I guess. We got 2.5 out of 4, which is basically like 80, 75-ish. People were shocked, like other groups were shocked. The bittersweet part of it was it kind of confirmed my instincts, and I found, yeah, this film like technically is good, and like how it looks and like how it feels, but the story isn't there. I forgot to say this. We did like a focus group discussion, which was organized by my thesis mate, who was inspired by the story, or the story is inspired by him, his life. You make a proposal paper, which is basically a research paper with the film. Got the grade and stuff. Now we're gonna submit the film, add the necessary revisions, which we did, and we rushed to finish the new edit and then fix certain things. We talked to our mentor one more time, and he said, "Don't be discouraged by the grade." He said, "Please submit to short film festivals. Tuloy lang yan." And we did. We submitted to a bunch. Cinema Pua, I don't think they got back to us. Right now, we're waiting for Cinepu to respond. Busan International Festival, then another one like Cinema Lion, that with other people. There's one more I'm forgetting, but yeah, those are the ones we submit right now. We're still looking for things we're qualified for, but yeah. So what is the point of this video? The point of this video is basically what I learned and what I would give advice to people. You don't need the best gear, things you know how to use already. So whatever's at this, you're supposed to try to use it. So rent if you have to. Create a solid crew that you're willing to work with, and you can be critical with. Don't be discouraged by what grade you get. Don't focus on the grade, focus on making a good film. Know when to compromise, but always express and articulate why you think something is good or something's better. And that's where the dialogue happens between your proponents, and I feel like that's what I severely lacked in the very early stages of pre-production. The film is called Ed's Traffic, by the way. Trust your vision, trust it. Lastly, I feel like have fun with it. Always try to have the fun in it. Other than that stuff, besides thesis, try to make films. But before that, I feel that will help. Like in your majors, if you want to make something cool, you should be unapologetically passionate about it and be able to articulate and express how serious you're about it. This video is kind of messy. Yeah, I'm gonna continue projecting the Yellow 4 Pi. Bye.